Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome back to the Contempo Coding live stream. Back today to talk about all things medical coding, especially AAPC related medical coding stuff. Some AHEMA stuff. I'm not an AHEMA member. I don't cover too much AHEMA stuff, but I do have a lot of things I want to talk about today with certifications, with ebooks. I've got so many questions coming in. I literally cannot keep track of them all. So we're here today to answer some career questions, talk about certification strategies, certifications you want to get, what are your plans for 2025. I can't believe we're already 2.5 months in. Can you guys believe that? America runs on Duncan, and I surely do run on Duncan myself. Today, mixing up the lava cake swirl with the raspberry. That's some good stuff, you guys. Anyway, I am so excited to be back here. It's been a funny couple of weeks with the weather, with like every morning I wake up and I'm like, this is it. I've finally gotten the cold and I'm not going to be able to work today. And then after a couple of minutes, I'm like, "No, actually feeling a little bit better." So in any case, hey, let's get together. Let's talk about medical coding. Say hi to your friends in the chat. Make sure, blah, blah, words today, Victoria. Get your favorite beverage ready. I know I have mine. And let's get ready for today's live stream. Good morning, everyone. So I got a lot of people coming in here from YouTube. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Instagram, which reminds me, I got to pull my Instagrammy people up over here because I don't get your chats within the rest of the chats. But I have one comment here coming in already from Instagram that says, I need the ebook version of the medical coding books. So here's the deal with the ebooks for medical coding. There are no legal, free, downloadable ebooks, with the exception of you can download the ICD-10-CM files, but not really as an ebook. You can kind of piece them together as a PDF if you want, but it is extremely large and not so much a copy of an ebook. If you want to purchase the ebooks, what I would recommend is you can buy them directly from the AAPC, especially if you're taking the CPC exam. Those are the ones that you would likely want to use. So if we're here on the AAPC website, we would go to shop, and it is here in book and guide bundles. I do believe, yeah, it's still defaulting to the 2024. So let's go over to 2025. So if you want to purchase just the ebooks, it's $244.99. I recommend pre-ordering yours every year if you're purchasing for yourself, because oftentimes they will do like a get your print books and the ebooks for the same price. Like you can just pay the $244 and get both the print books and the ebooks. I don't think they're running that right now anymore, though. I think it's a higher fee now to buy them. So let's see if we were to buy. No, it's back on sale. I stand corrected. $244.99. So you can get the print and ebooks right now for the same price. That's the way that you can purchase them if you want to practice with them for the exam. However, what I do want to stress upon is if you're taking the CPC exam and you don't want to purchase new books, maybe you have ones from 2023, which you're not permitted to use. You are training somewhere that has ebooks that are different versions, like my Preppy students do. They get ebooks included in their training curriculum, but it is not the ones that are the same for the AAPC exam. When you purchase your exam voucher for any AAPC certification, the CPC, the CPB, CRC, whatever, you can opt to use ebooks. When you do that, there is no extra charge to use the ebooks during the exam. You will log into a library essentially where it's the shared books. There's no highlights, there's no notations or anything in them. And you can use those for no additional cost other than your exam voucher cost. But then you don't get to keep them after the exam. You can't relog into them. So the ebooks, if you want to use them outside of that exam, you do have to purchase them. Because CPT is copyrighted, there is no free resource you can use to like download a CPT book or download a HCPCS book. So is there an e version of ICD-10-CM or CPT? There are, but you do need to purchase them. If you wanna get so the ICD-10-CM data itself is free. So I can show you, for example, we can go onto the CMS website, and we can download them. Let's see if I can find the links. They're on CMS and the CDC. At least they were. Who knows anymore with what they're doing with these websites, what we do and don't have access to. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. Here is I can see the guidelines here. Hold up. Whoop. There we go. So on the CDC website, you can go and view the ICD-10-CM data, but it's not like an ebook, like if you were reading through a Kindle where you can like flip through the pages. It's all just a whole gigantic PDF. So you can get it on the CDC website and I think on the CMS website still as well, but it's not like a traditional ebook. You can, I believe, download it, which downloads it as a PDF. CPT and HCPCS you will not be able to access for free. But this is good if you just kind of like are maybe taking a beginner course in ICD-10-CM and just want to look through it. I did a video on some information for the ebooks for the CPC exam last week. And I think is it or maybe the week before. Yeah, the week before last. And then this week I have a new video coming up where I talk specifically about some of the strategies with using the ebooks from the exam. Patrice says, hello, some of ICD-10-CM guidelines, I don't understand how to code. So the ICD-10-CM guidelines are one of those things that you kind of have to read through them once. And then as you're reading through cases and coding them, you have to go, oh, yeah, you know what? I think I remember reading something about this in the guidelines and reference back to them. It really is kind of a practice makes perfect. So you do not have to memorize the coding guidelines for ICD-10-CM, but you should be familiar enough with them that when you're looking at something and you're like, "Oh, this is a case for patient encounter for chemotherapy. I know there's some kind of sequencing guideline around that. Let me go back to my guidelines and take a look at that." So, let me see. And back on the main channel page, for the YouTube channel, if we go here, there is a kind of walkthrough of the ICD-10-CM guidelines. So if you wanna get some more ICD-10-CM guideline information, we can go to the front of the channel, and here there is lots of helpful playlists, one of which is ICD-10-CM, so how to become a medical coder, CPC exam tips. Ooh, I should reorganize that one, 2023. I have to reorganize that playlist. The CPC review, job advice, case studies, E&M, and then here is the ICD-10-CM coding guidelines. Now, some of these are a few years old, so at the very end of the playlist, you will find the information, um, updates on them. It has been a while, so it might not be a bad idea for me at some point to start going through and updating them, but yeah, you can see the updates are here at the end of the playlist. April says, taking my CPC exam next Saturday. Pray I pass. Good luck to you, April. Again, there's lots of resources if you need them on the channel that I offer for free. If you've taken those AAPC practice exams, they are like chef's kiss. They're amazing. Love those. Love those. If I were to work for insurance, which one is better, CRC or CPB? It depends on what kind of insurance company you're working for. If they do have more risk adjustment models that they work with the physicians on, or if you're going to be working more in billing and claims review. So I don't think either would be a bad choice to get certified in, but it really depends on what that insurance company is looking for. I have a LinkedIn user here asking, do you know of any tutor programs for coding? I'm new to this. These tutors are getting busy. You can check, there's a couple of websites. There's tutors.com. I have had some people also say they've done really well at wisent.com. I'll bring it up so I can kind of show you. That's what I'm talking about because it's a funny word. So I want to make sure that you are all at the right website, spelling it correctly, and so forth. Ooh, it's taken a little bit to load. Let's see. There we go. I don't know why that's okay. Here we go. So if we look at the Wisent website, that's not the one. Oh yeah, it is. Look at the screen with me. It says tutors at an affordable price. So some people have found some really good medical coding tutors here. So you can check that. It is wyzant.com. So wisant.com. That's a website that does have medical coding tutors on it as well, which is good because it has a handful. So depending on your budget, you might want um, a tutor that is more affordable. If you have, the budget, you might want someone who has more experience and is going to charge more. View on pathology coding specialty. I don't really do a lot of pathology coding. My previous experience in pathology coding has been primarily coding like lesion pathology reports, not anything in depth. So I can't really say too much about pathology specifically. I have an email message here from Dr. House says, "Good evening. I am a physician working in Ecuador and thinking of taking Preppy to change career to medical coding and billing. Do you have any advice for my case? Thanks for the answer in advance for the answer." So I'm not sure if Preppy does training for international students. If you want to find out more, I would contact help at preppy dot. Is it .org? Preppy.org, Victoria. Let's make sure that we're sending everyone to the right website. Yeah, contact help at preppy.org and they can answer your questions. I'm not sure if there's a lot of places out there that are looking to hire coders that work in Ecuador. I am not the foremost expert in work visas. But usually, what I can say is that when companies are looking to offshore their medical coding, meaning that they're going to send it somewhere outside of the US, it's only because they're going to be absorbing some sort of cost savings. So a lot of times they will outsource to India or the Philippines or somewhere where they don't have to pay people as much. And that is exclusively the reason. There isn't really, I would say, a shortage of medical coders in the United States. So definitely check if you have a company in mind or looking to work internationally. Um, I would definitely do some research around that. Let me hop over to my Instagram and see what kind of questions are coming through here because I know my Instagram people pop in and out. Um, there's a comment here that says the ebooks are so easy to navigate. Can't wait to use mine for my next certification. Yeah, from the information that the AAPC has put out, they said that a lot of people like really preferred using the ebooks for the exam. And I think some people, I don't know if it was maybe they were just hoping this was what the case was. They saw on there that you will have access to a search tool if you use the ebook, and I think maybe they were hoping that meant that they could use Codify or an encoder, but they mean the search tool that's actually embedded in the book where you can just type in like a code and it'll bring up every instance where that code shows up or that term shows up in the book. Do you have any tips for bundled procedures on OBGYN? Not off the top of my head. It's been a few years since I've really done OBGYN, so I really wouldn't be able to speak to that unless I was looking at something specifically. Sachshausen says, I am about to graduate with my medical coding and billing ATA. Is it normal to feel like I haven't absorbed enough? When you're learning something new and you're a beginner at anything, you always feel like it's never enough. Any kind of hobby I've taken, any kind of new task or trade, it never feels like enough because you're just starting out and you can't hit the ground running from something, especially as difficult as medical coding. If you were someone who was learning how to play pickleball or you were learning how to do powerlifting, you could study it and do it for several months, but still wouldn't feel as apt as someone who's been doing it for years and years and years. So that's just a normal, I think, part of the journey. And you just have to be kind to yourself and understand that, you know, there's a lot to learn in this. And you, at no point will you ever know anything. You're always going to be a student. And that's a beautiful thing to embrace because that means that you're always in that growth mode. I have a question here. Are you going to do a video on how to use ebooks for the exam? That is actually coming up. I'm gonna show you guys. So the last video I did was, believe, just about the books, correct? I talked about the fact that you can use them, but I'm not sure I actually demoed them. I do have some videos on using the ICD-10 CM ebook. But let me take a look here. So view your channel. So the last video I did on ebooks was this one here from February 6th. And if I go to, let me just make sure I don't show you guys anything crazy behind the scenes here. But if I go into my YouTube studio, I can show you here. This is, yeah, so my book on how my video on how tips for using the ebooks is already ready. It's up, it's drafted. So this is publishing on Thursday. I have to get the thumbnail together and I have to schedule it and do all that stuff. But yeah, that will be publishing on Thursday is when you will see my book that really talks about ebook usage and tips for the CPC exam and certification exams, navigating, how to get through a little bit faster, how to search for things a little bit faster. Um, yeah, stuff like that. It's gonna be a good one. It's a really good one, and my editors actually did a really good job with editing it, so it's even, like, visually nice to watch. Alicia says, "Are there jobs in this field that don't require the COVID shot?" That goes by organization to organization, so I can't say definitively yes or no. Um, and since I've been kind of independent for a while, I don't think I got my COVID. I shouldn't say this. I didn't get my flu shot even this year. So yeah, I think there are opportunities out there, but it's not something I could necessarily guarantee or say, oh yeah, you can get a job here or here, 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 or here. But I do think more organizations are amenable to exceptions these days. Ailey says, I sometimes feel so lost when dealing with orthopedic surgery codes and those modifiers. Any tips would be helpful. At the top of my head, I really can't. I don't have a lot of orthopedic tips. Um, yeah. So if you have specific questions about like specialties that I've not been super proficient in the past, I don't have the in-depth tips that I can provide on specific specialties or coding cases or scenario type stuff. Carol says, "Hello, I'm doing the Preppy medical billing and coding. I'm getting very overwhelmed about all the medical terminology. Do I need to go over and over again until I'm 100% sure?" No. I'm not 100% sure about med term. You don't need to have med term and anatomy down to the expertise level that a clinical personnel would. I'm getting fidgety here. I'm playing with my gloves under the desk. Um, there's only a handful of questions specifically on med term during the CPC exam. However, there might be things that if you understand medterm a little bit more in depth, that you'll be able to piece together that case and come to the correct answer, a little bit faster. So, you don't necessarily need to be an expert in all things med-term or pathology, but you do need to have a decent foundation. So understanding all your prefixes and suffixes and some of the more common terms. But no, it's not that you have to specifically memorize every single med term known to man. If that is stressing you out, just do your best on the med term, and then as you're going through things, Google them, search them up, look up the terms, and then as you repeat that, you'll start to get more familiar and you'll start retaining a little bit more. Oh, I do wanna talk to you guys real quick, not to segue because I do see yeah, I have so many questions coming through. Um, I I can't believe we are, I think, less than 2 months out from Healthcon. So I just booked my flights yesterday, and I called the AAPC, I think, on Friday. This is the first year that I'm going to do Teach the Teacher at Healthcon. So Healthcon this year is at my favorite place on earth, Walt Disney World. Excuse me. And I'm so excited, and I'm trying to plan out all of the stuff that I'm gonna be doing while I'm there. This is how creepy I get sometimes when it comes to, like, conference. I will literally pull up the conference app and scroll through, like, the listing of everyone that's gonna be there, and then, like, so that I know, like, who I need to touch base with while I'm there. So, like, I just saw that, one of the gentlemen I know from iCoder is there, but then I also check to see, like, who I know. Oh, I just froze. I also checked to see who I know that's not gonna be there. Like, I haven't seen Bertram's name on the list yet, which is concerning to me, and I don't know if he's registering late or what's going on, but I assumed since he's in Florida, he would be there, but I haven't seen his name yet, and I'm, like, trying not to cry here. But yeah, so if you're not familiar, HealthCon is the AEPC's Business of Healthcare conference. It is so good, and it's coming up in Orlando this year. So one of the things that they're including with registration, I think everyone who's registered has gotten an email saying that, like, Tuesday night of the conference, you get an included twilight ticket to go to one of the parks. So you can pick to go to Magic Kingdom or go to Hollywood Studios or wherever, but only through, like, a certain date, like, I think you have to book it then by March something or another. So in any case, I'm gonna be there, I'm so excited. This is the first year I'm doing Teach the Teacher, so I'm actually flying in early to do Teach the Teacher so that I can learn more about problems people are having with the CPC exam, how to instruct better for you guys, some of the mistakes that people are making, ebook stuff, and then be able to work that back. So I'm, like, super excited for that coming up. So, if you want to register, go to healthcon.com, and I do wanna disclose that, I was working with the AAPC to do some promotions on this. So full disclosure, I have received some freebies from them in order to help promote conference, but I did also just wanna mention it today because 'cause I'm, like, going through all of my stuff and planning out, like, all of my sessions that I'm gonna go to and, like, all the booths I gotta go visit and who I'm gonna talk to. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, the best way to contact some of my friends that I know are going and being like, "Hey, like, what's the game plan? Like, what are we doing after conference? Where are we going? Are we gonna have dinner?" Like, trying to figure that all out. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I wanna start a group chat or, like, how I should tackle that. But in any case, and I think if you are a student, like, if you are with an independent instructor, sometimes you can get a discounted registration through your instructor, so I would take a look at that as well. If you're currently a student through an AAPC, independent or licensed instructor. At least they used to do discounted membership, so I'm assuming they still do, but definitely worth checking out. It is virtual too if you wanna just get all the different sessions, but I'm, like, so excited. I'm like, "Ah!" Like, I wanna go see all my friends and stuff in the industry. I definitely wanna check out Betty and Christine Hall, Shannon, Stephanie's gonna be there, a couple of the Stephanies are gonna be there, so I'm, like, so excited to see everyone. Um, so if you're interested in going to the conference or interested in saying hi to me, I will definitely be there. Uzi says, "Do you have to be a member?" You do not. I think it's cheaper if you are a member of the AAP. You do not need to be a member, to attend. Or if you're in the Orlando area, uh, you should probably start hitting some people up that you know that are gonna be there. I haven't seen Brian Quee's name on the list of attendees yet, so I'm curious if he's gonna be popping in. So, but yeah, I've been reaching out to people to see who's going and who's not. So I have a question that I'm seeing here about, is graduation essential with CPC certification to get a job? Most employers are really looking for the CPC certification. I think it looks a little bit better if you've had formal training through a reputable company versus something that maybe isn't as well established or you tried to self-study. But overall, what most people are looking for is that CPC certification and that you have the skills and so forth that they are looking for. Alexa says, "Hello, Victoria. Have you heard of Career Pro Connect?" I have not. Yeah, that's not one I've heard of before. At least not come in my sphere. Um, Tracy says, "Hey, Victoria. I just finishing my course in medical billing and coding. It was a rushed course through the program I attended. Do you have any recommendations for me studying for the AEPC exam? Tips that would help me with passing? I am thinking of starting with revisiting the course since I still have access with it." That sounds like an excellent plan. I would definitely start with going through the course again. Depending on what materials you have, if you had the AEPC materials, you can also look at getting the step-by-step medical coding books. You could also go through the main channel page and go through some of the review material that I have there. I have that whole playlist there. Let me get back into the main channel page so I can show you where that is. Um, the other thing I would suggest is the AAPC practice exams. They are so amazing because they do mimic the platform of the actual exam, so you can get familiar with how to navigate, how to bookmark, how to skip a question, how to submit your answers. Um, so that I think is really, really excellent as well. But yeah, if you want some exam stuff, I really need to do I need to update this playlist. But yeah, I have CPC exam tips, and then there is a whole CPC review by section in this playlist as well. So that is excellent. And then of course, just going through any materials that you already have, but those practice exams, that's going to give you that feel of kind of where you are and actual timing and as far as accuracy to prepare you for the exam. By the way, just a few quick other things. Oh, if you are looking into getting into a medical billing and coding program, let me tell you about my free masterclass. So if you go to medicalcodingmasterclass.com, that is my free career masterclass. So it tells you all the information that's essential about getting into a career in medical billing and coding. So what kind of training you should look for, what certifications you want to prepare for, job outlook, expectations, um, all kinds of things that employers are looking for, how to make sure that you're not spending too much because some of these programs, they're way too expensive. And then it does talk to you about the program that I recommend, which is called Preppy. And I would do want to disclose that I do have an affiliate relationship with Preppy, so I do receive some compensation for recommending them to you. And if you don't want to get through Preppy, there's lots of other resources out there. You can go directly through the AAPC. You can look through some of your community colleges because they do have programs that you might qualify for grants. You might qualify for some really good financial aid. I honestly would not recommend, though, spending more than maybe $5,000 on a program because you could actually go directly through the AAPC and get it for less than that with all of the books, bells, and whistles. So if we even look right now on the AAPC website under certifications, prepare for certification exam. So let's say we are like, oh, okay, I want to become a CPC. Ta-da-ta-da. We could do our training at the AAPC for self-paced, $2,799. We could do, I think the instructor led, even with the books and so forth, is around $5,000. So if you're looking at a program through somewhere else and they're charging more than that, it should really only be because maybe you are getting an associate's degree, which you don't need just for a general medical coding position. But some people like that because they think that, eventually they might want to get into management or build their career ladder to a higher extent, and they wanna have that associate's degree so that then they can then get their bachelor's and the master's and so forth, which if you want, that's awesome, but if you are genuinely just looking for, like, a medical billing and coding type of position, you don't really need a degree. But yeah, you can go directly through the AAPC, you can go through Preppy, you can look for different programs out there. Sometimes depending on what type of community you are in, you might be able to get something that's discounted for veterans or for being a family member of an active service member or, different things like that. There's lots of options out there. Yeah, Uzi. So the course that I offer is not a course that teaches medical billing and coding. It teaches about the career in medical billing and coding, and that's at medicalcodingmasterclass.com. It says, I just bought my 2025 books and the study guide and 3 practice exams. I will review your tips as well. Awesome. I'm really excited for that. Sounds like you're getting ready for the certification exam. Let's hop over. I don't want to miss out on my Instagram people in case they're over here. Where did my Instagram go? There it is. In case they're coming in. I have a question coming in about what is global surgery and modifiers. So global surgery is if you have certain procedures or surgeries, they might have this global period. Sometimes there's 0 days, sometimes there's 10 days, and some days there's 90 days, at least dictated by the CMS and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Um, so something that's like super minor, you're not expected to have any kind of follow-up care for that. So they might say that that's 0 days. Some you might have a little bit of follow-up care. So maybe you had a laceration or a cut and they had to do some stitches. So they might say, oh, well, there's expected that within 10 days, you might have a little bit of follow-up care. You might have to come in for that suture removal or to do a little wound check. So everything that happens that's routine within that 10 days is going to be included in that original code billing. And then some are 90 days. So let's say you go out and you have a gallbladder removal, a cholecystectomy. They'll say, okay, the 90-day follow-up period of routine care surrounding that cholecystectomy is going to be covered in that code, that billing, that reimbursement for the cholecystectomy. So maybe a post-operative visit or check or two, the routine stuff, that's all going to be included. So nothing's going to be billed out separately unless it's way outside or not related, like maybe you go for your gallbladder removal and then you, have to get an injection that's totally separate, or you have pain in your knee and that's totally separate, so something unrelated outside of that period. Modifiers are a two-digit code that can get attached to a CPT or a HCPCS code, and it kind of modifies the code itself a little bit, kind of alters it, says, "Hey, we have this code, but, like, there's a little extra something I need to tell you about this." So it might be that it was an increased procedure, which is our 22 modifier, saying, "Hey, this was a little bit longer of a surgery or a little bit more complicated of a surgery," and sometimes they'll maybe, based off of that, reimburse you more, or sometimes they'll do things like, Just modify that, or they'll say like an anatomical thing. Like we have modifiers that are RT-LT. So if we're doing a right carpal tunnel repair, we would put the RT modifier on it to know that it's an RT modifier. John saying, did they mean 26 versus TC Global? I don't know if that's a response to what I am just answering, but I don't think so. They just said, what is global surgery and modifiers? Unless they're talking about modifiers specifically for global surgery, but it literally just says, what is global surgery and modifiers? Christine says, I highly recommend purchasing the CPC practice exams on the AAPC. I passed my CPC. That is awesome. Yeah, they're great. Those practice exams are great. And I should mention to this while we're on the topic of it. So if you purchase the AAPC practice exams, a couple of them do have some fill in the blank questions because there is the possibility that at some point the AAPC is looking at adding in fill in the blank answers on the CPC exam. That is still TBD as far as when they are going to implement that and possibly even if they're going to implement it. The last word we heard was a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago at this point, and they said that they're still looking at having it at some point, but because they have some other priority projects going on, it was put on the back burner a little bit. Right now, I'm sure they're focusing on a lot of the things with the ebook implementation that went in last month. So I don't foresee it happening in the next several months. Um, I do foresee that fill in the blanks might happen at some point, but it's not going to be a quick switch like, hey, guess what? Next week for the CPC exam, you're getting fill in the blank questions. They're going to give us way advanced time, advanced preparation. Honestly, it might not even happen this year the way that it's kind of sounding. But yeah, it's not gonna be like, "Surprise, you're taking your CPC exam tomorrow, and we added in fill in the blank questions." It's gonna be something that's gonna be very much announced and made informed and prepared for in advance. Now, as far as CEUs are your continuing education units. So everyone who has an AAPC certification or even a HEMA certification or an NHA certification, you have to maintain that by earning CEUs. The great news is there's lots of free and cheap ways to earn CEUs. The AAPC is very generous with their membership as far as including things for CEUs. So typically your CEU renewal period is 2 years after you've completed that first certification, and then every 2 years you're due for one certification 36 CEUs. That's to make sure that you're keeping up to date with all of your important things that are going on, code changes, you're learning about new specialties, you're keeping up to date on all those things that are really gonna make you a good current medical coder. So, chapter meetings you can attend, local chapter meetings. You can get your AAPC, the magazine, formerly Healthcare Business Monthly. You can opt to get a print version. You automatically get the PDF or digital version as part of your AAPC membership. And if you complete a quiz based off of the questions in the magazine, you earn a CEU. I actually just did a video this week on CEUs. So your CEUs should be due 2 years after your first certification. I can show you if you need to find out more about CEUs. I do have my free CEUs video that you don't get free CEUs for watching this video, but it talks about all the opportunities out there where you can get CEUs. Specifically for the AAPC. I know AHIMA don't do it, Victoria, don't get on the rant about AHIMA. AHIMA has changed some of their or looking to change some of their CEU policies, and I know they've got town halls coming up with AHIMA, and all I'm gonna say is I really, really want AHIMA to be successful, and I want their members to get everything they deserve out of their organization. Um, but they're definitely going through some rough patches right now at AHIMA, and there's definitely, some concerns that the members are understandably voicing. Tracy's asking, do you recommend bringing your own books to the AEPC exam or the ebooks? Oh man, that's it's such a personal preference because I know some people who have said and swear up and down that the only reason they passed their exam is because they went to cco.us and they learned about the bubble highlight annotate technique. And it was only because they had certain things underlined and color coded with their with their books, they were able to pass their exam. But now we've also got all of these people who did ebook exams with the AAPC that are giving feedback that they're like, oh, I love the ebooks and I prefer using them. So it really depends. If you're taking a practice exam and you feel like you're leaning heavily into notes and highlights and things, you might want to take your print books with you versus the ebooks, but the ebooks are so easy to search through. You don't have to lug anything with. You don't have to worry that you like are gonna tear a page or that you're it's gonna come uncoiled or that you're going to have written something that someone's gonna think is suspicious or something in your book. So I think the ebooks are just so nice and easy. My students that go through Preppy, they learn on ebooks. So they're already accustomed to using ebooks. And I think more employers are going to want their employees to work with digital tools. If they're a large employer with medical coders and say they have all kinds of different contracts and projects, they're not going to want to have to ship out books to everyone every year, right? They're going to want you to have some sort of digital tool or an encoder. So honestly, I think it's sort of beneficial to someone who's learning medical coding to navigate things with digital tools and with the ebooks. I still like my print books. I still have them. So I'm curious how things are going to start trending though this year because typically I get so many requests for, hey, Victoria, can you do an updated tabbing video? Can you talk about what notes I need to write in my book? And I actually wrote an article in the magazine last year where I just kind of talked about like, I know people have a lot of note strategies and things, but you don't want to get to the point where it's like, oh, I feel like I almost wanna write all of these special secret notes, this note-taking strategy in my book, because, again, we've had this feedback from people saying, like, the ebooks that were blank, they didn't think it impeded them. If you know the essentials of medical coding, you're not gonna need all of these little secret books. Like, you really should know how to code without having to feel like you've written, like, almost an entire other study guide into your book. So that's, I guess, my take on that. And now I completely forgot what I was even talking about. ADHD is popping today, Victoria. Um, so Preppy, because I'm getting some questions. Preppy, I'll bring up the website, because they're great. They have externship opportunities, their customer service is great. And I do wanna stress, though, that Preppy is an online learn at your own pace program. And that's why it's more affordable. If you're someone who wants to be meeting in a classroom via Zoom or meeting in a classroom in person, those are things you'll probably have to pay more for because they have to pull and pay for those extra resources, pay for teacher aides, pay for instructors, pay to have someone at the ready to answer questions. But if you're looking for an affordable option where you can train on your own and you're going to have support and you're going to get questions answered, but maybe not like immediately, because I think it would be hard to staff teacher aides that are there like and can get answers to your questions like that. Especially since most people are studying like Saturday evenings and stuff like that. Like hiring people to be at the ready to answer questions that quickly would be rather expensive. But yeah, Preppy, if you're looking for something that's like budget friendly, you're gonna get all of your tools included. They're gonna include your med term. They're gonna include digital versions of the books. They're gonna train you. They'll give you an externship opportunity. Like they're a great program. So it's preppy.org. And here's their certifications, medical billing and coding. And the price is very transparent. So it is and essentially it's through the University of Auburn. So you get like a certificate of completion from the University of Auburn, not just like not just, um oh, get access now. So, yeah, you can find out more here, but here's their pricing information. $15.99. If you wanna pay it all at once, you will get a Chromebook included, or you can pay $2.99 a month. So, yeah, they're a great program. They do count for the 80 contact hours to remove your apprenticeship status with the AAPC. Yeah, it's really good program. And there's a lot of videos that you can see now of people who are just really, really happy with the program. Um, yeah. But again, I do receive commissions from Preppy if I refer students over to them. So if you're like, "Hey, you know what? I don't like that. I don't trust that she's gonna send me somewhere because she has this monetary gain from this," you can honestly, I have no problem with anyone saying, "You know what? I don't trust that, and I wanna go directly through the AEPC. I wanna go through Career Step. I wanna go through my community college. I wanna go through anywhere else." Absolutely do that. But I am saying if you are looking for an affordable study at your own pace program, I do recommend Preppy, and I think they're great. And they've been, like, so on top of things. So on top of things. Like, I'll email them and I'll be like, "Oh, I got this comment about something." They're like, "Oh, yeah, we actually already contacted that person." And I'm like, "Oh, alright." Um, does Preppy offer job placement? Job placement is not something you're going to find a lot in medical coding. You will find what a lot of people refer to as job support. They'll maybe help you with resumes and help you prepare for interviews, but there I don't know of any jobs that are really gonna help you or any training programs that are going to place you in a position. Uzi's asking if is Preppy worth it if you're taking the medical coding test? Yes, if you're looking to take the CPC, their training is really geared toward that. If you're looking to get inpatient coding, though, not so much. If you've already prepared and already have received training somewhere else, I wouldn't recommend then also purchasing Preppy. But yeah, Elmore says she's working on the course now. Could you show the medical flashcard and also believe the book from 25 that I should purchase before doing the Preppy course? So the Preppy course does include MedTerm with it, so you don't necessarily need to purchase something separately. However, I did this is the MedTerm resource that I recommend. I have MedTerm flashcards. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily better than anything else that's out there. Oh, yeah. So this is the older version though of the MedTerm book. This is the physical paper copy, Medical Terminology and Anatomy for Coding. This is the 3rd edition. They are up to their 4th edition now. I don't think it would be a huge problem if you got an older edition, like if you find one on a discount store that's the older edition and it's cheaper, that would be cool. The only thing that I think has really changed because medical terminology and anatomy hasn't changed at all is the codes that they're referencing. So they might reference a code, for evaluation and management, which has changed in the past few years. So that's really what's changing in the editions, not necessarily the med term itself. But this book was cool because it refers to things and then gives like medical coding related examples, which is really cool. You can get the print version on Amazon. I think I have it linked in the video description for most of the places here. Excuse me, because I think Facebook or something only allows you to put a few links in video descriptions. I thought I bought the digital version of this. I thought I bought this. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I just looked at it. But yeah, there's a 5th edition now. Let's see if I can find it in the Vital Source store. You will be directed to Vital Source because you can rent this too if you want. If you don't want to pay the full amount to have it forever and ever, you can rent it for a short period of time. Medical terminology for coding. So that's the 4th edition. Maybe they might not have the 5th edition available for on Vital Source yet, but the 4th edition is there, and I believe you can rent it for, like, 30 days or something for a cheaper price. But it is also available on Amazon. Oh, mine's not showing the price because I have this edition. Um, but yeah, you can get the ebook, and rent that, or you can buy the paper book and have it forever. And you can buy the ebook forever too. It depends on how much money you wanna spend, if you wanna spend the cheaper price just to rent it for 30 days or 90 days versus buying it outright. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's a good resource. My Vital Source bookshelf has been, like, stacked lately with all kinds of good stuff. I'm still tr Stop laughing at me. I'm still trying to learn PCS coding. I still haven't done it. I still know this much. Every year, every month, I'm like, "This is it. This is the time. I'm gonna finally learn PCS," and then I don't. Which is a shame because let me tell you, Code Health has been popping lately. Code Health, KODE, Code Health, they've been having a lot I've been getting a ton of emails from them. They're like, "We're looking for coders like you." But a lot of them are inpatient coding, which I don't do inpatient coding. So I guess now's the time, right? If you're looking for something to transition into, there's a lot of inpatient activity. It's just HEMA tends to yeah, I think more people are accepting the AAPC inpatient credentials, but traditionally, we've been kind of looking for a HEMA for those inpatient coding credentials, but a HEMA, they're just, I don't know, rough right now. It's just rough right now, and hopefully they'll turn a corner. Tracy's asking, "Does Preppy come with the books with the cost of $15.99?" It comes with ebooks. So you will get the PMIC CPT Plus ebook, and I'm not sure what version I think PMIC. I'm not sure what versions of the ICD-10 CM and HCPCS, probably the PMIC versions as well. And if I remember correctly, I think they're in Vital Source. Yeah. But yeah, you do get them, but you don't get the printed books, you get the digital books. Susie asks, "Does the school passing rate for medical coding tests matter depending upon where you go?" Yeah, each place is gonna have different, passing rates. Some places don't track their passing rate, because some people go for certifications through the AAPC, some people go through NHA, some people go through HEMA, some people don't get certified. Because if you're just looking for a billing position, you don't necessarily need, um, a certification to do that. Um, oh, and I should probably also mention in regards to Preppy. So Preppy includes everything. They do not include because it is just a general medical billing and coding program, and not everyone necessarily wants the same certification. They don't include your AAPC membership and the CPC exam voucher. Those are the two things that you will have to buy separately if you want to get specifically your CPC certification. Blankbird said, "Girl, is there hope for me? I'm completing my HIT associates this spring and hopefully getting my RHIT in kind, but it feels like my peers are participating in so much more than I am. How do I get?" I don't know. Have you tried connecting with some of your um HEMA chapters, maybe networking some more? So I'm not sure specifically like what they might be getting. But yeah, I hope everything goes well with your RHIT. It sounds like it's kind of slow moving over there as far as getting results. So I hope that starts moving a little faster for you and good luck on your RHIT. But yeah, if you're, concerned, work on those job skills. Work on first off jumping that first hurdle, getting your RHIT, then getting your resume done. There's projectresume.net. They're good. Sarah Reagan is also really great as well. She's amazing as far as getting resumes together. And then just have that good job search strategy, network, go out to those conferences, network digitally, and all that good stuff. Oh, how do I get noticed in job apps? Yeah, yeah, definitely work with the resumes. job search strategy, and I also have a job play playlist on the channel too. So if we go here, I do have a lot of stuff about job tips, about mock interviews, and it is yeah. So, I've done interviews in the past with recruiters. I'm hoping to do some more. You know what? I don't think I saw Kyle's name on the Healthcon registration either. What the heck, Kyle? Why are all of my Florida friends not Florida friends? Okay, here's what I'm gonna say right now. I'm gonna stop because now I'm mad. Kyle Johnson, if you're watching this, um, or Bertram or any of my friends in Florida, and you're not registered for Healthcon yet, I am officially mad at you, and you need to get registered. Also, you can save $100 off if you use my code Orlando25 if you register for Healthcon. But I better see your names on this registration list soon. Why are all of my there's too many people that I know off the top of my head that are in Florida that I'm thinking back, I have not seen on the registration list for Healthcon. Unacceptable, completely. Um, Jennifer Murray says, "Hi, I'm not a big networking person. Any suggestions for improving this?" So as an AAPC member, assuming you are an AAPC member, you get assigned to a local chapter. Start getting familiar with your local chapter. Connect if you can just with the chapter officer, and they might be able to help support you. Oftentimes they have a position in there that's called the member development officer, and they can help kind of get you connected or direct you in the right spot. Um, LinkedIn is another one if you don't wanna connect in person, if you maybe have a little bit of, like, social anxiety with in-person stuff, you can connect on LinkedIn and just start following people there. I did a video recently about LinkedIn strategies for medical coders, or you can even start lurking in places like some of the Facebook groups that are out there, and just start getting familiar with people, but I think your local chapter would be the great place to start. If you don't know what local chapter you're assigned to, let me see if I can pull this up in my account without it, like, flashing my address or something on it. So let me go through and take a look. Hmm. Da, 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 da. I think it shows it here. Let me just make sure. It doesn't really show your local chapter here, though. It will, though, if you click on this. Okay. So what we're gonna do, go to your name at the top. That would be helpful if I got my face out of the way. Go to your name at the top right-hand corner when you're logged into your AAPC account. And if you go down here to local chapter, it'll take you to this page here, and it'll show you all your local chapter events. Why doesn't it show me? Oh, this is different. It's interesting. So I'm assigned to the Reading chapter overview. Maybe that's where it is. Nope. Yeah. It used to show it right here. Resources and policy, training and news, forums. Oh, I don't want that. Directory. It should ooh, I don't wanna show my but yeah, if you go to the directory, then it'll show all of your, it'll show you your chapter and then their contact information. So I'm assigned to the Reading, Pennsylvania chapter. So yeah, that's where you can find it. If you go to your name, local chapter, and then hit on the directory, it'll show you what chapter you're assigned to. Ashley says, so I got my medical billing and coding certification through NCCT, and my certification is National Certified Insurance and Coding Specialist. I'm having a hard time finding work. Ashley, I'm actually not super familiar with the NCCT. I know sometimes there are areas geographically that have like little pockets of areas where they accept different certifications. But ideally, if you're looking specifically for a medical coding job, you're probably gonna wanna get a certification through AAPC or a HEMA. There's only, like, small areas where they accept other certifications, things like the CBCS through the NHA, for example. There's only certain areas where they will accept that for coding positions. If you are looking for a billing position specifically, or you just wanna work in general somewhere in revenue cycle or something that's coding adjacent, they will accept some of those other certifications and trainings, but if it's a strict medical coding job, they want a CPC or they want a CCS or a CCSP, something from AAPC or a HEMA. Um, so if that's your goal to get a medical coding job, I would look at getting your CPC certification, for example, or something through a HEMA. A HEMA is a little rough right now, and I don't want to downplay anyone who wants to get an HEMA certification, but they're just going through some growing pains, I think. And at this time, I would more so recommend an AAPC certification. Um, yeah. So if you are still looking for jobs that are job tips for how to get some into medical coding, a lot of us have to start in something that's kind of coding adjacent, so working in revenue cycle or scheduling or registration or pre-authorizations or charge entry or reconciliation, and working in those for a little while and then transferring into coding. I had to do it, a lot of people I know had to do it. So that's your other option there, is to get something where you're working with medical codes, but your job isn't necessarily titled medical coder. One tip I will give when you're searching for jobs, if you type in a common term, like a skill set term, like ICD-10, you can pull up more of those coding adjacent type jobs. So let's say I'm in LinkedIn and I'm over here searching for a job. And instead of typing in medical coder or CPC, if I type in ICD-10, it's gonna pull up a lot more job options where they're looking for someone with that skill set. So that'll pull up some things that aren't, again, necessarily medical coding, but they might be things where they're looking for someone who knows ICD-10. There are gonna be, of course, coding positions in there, but there's gonna be some other things that you might wanna consider. So that'll kind of cast a wider net of things that you can look for. And Ashley brought this up. I don't know who may have previously asked this question. Preppy will send you the books. You just have to ask for them. But just do keep in mind, though, that while Preppy will send you the books, the paper book version that they're going to send you for CPT, you cannot use for the CPC exam. They're going to send you the CPT plus book. And the only version of the CPT book that you can take for the CPC exam is the AMA edition of CPT. However, you can use those ebooks. You can purchase your exam voucher and say that select that you want to use the ebooks, and then those ebooks will be embedded at the in the exam platform at no additional cost. So you can just use those, and you don't have to pay extra for books. Yeah, we used AAPC during school, but we tested through NCCT. Yeah, I would look more into getting certified with the AAPC. Anyway, it is now 3 o'clock. It was great talking with you guys. We had a lot of really great questions today, and I will be back soon to do some more live streams. But it's 3 o'clock and I haven't eaten lunch yet, unless coffee counts as lunch. I will see you guys soon, probably next week. But until then, just keep on coding on.